Hi, my name's Matthew Drury. I'm an assistant psychologist and I work for the Isle of Man Government's Mental Health Service. I'm creating this video to talk about an emotion that we all experience as human beings, known as anxiety. Anxiety can present itself in different ways for different people. That can be changes in your mind and in your body. Anxiety may be more present in the population right now due to the fact we've just experienced a global pandemic. Although the risk of infection has significantly reduced in the Isle of Man, this does not mean that people won't be feeling anxious. The lockdown brought about lots of different changes to our personal lives and to our working lives, and accustoming to these changes could have been very stressful and anxiety provoking to some people. On top of this, we've now essentially come out of the lockdown and we're expecting everyone to return to normal and function as they did before. And spending that much time at home, isolated, might increase people's anxiety during this time. Anxiety comes from fear, and fear is an emotion that has evolutionary advantages. Fear helps us adapt to our environments. This is a helpful function that was useful to us many years ago and still today to an extent. For example, our ancestors would have needed fear when running away from a lion or a predator when out on a hunt. This fight or flight response would help them run away effectively and quick enough or stay and fight. Experiencing this fear would allow them to remember where the danger happened and remind them to not go there again. Fear helps us store memories where bad things have happened so we don't repeat ourselves and find ourselves in the same environment. Fear helps us respond to immediate danger and attempts to stop danger from happening. And it does this by remembering the times you're in danger as to prevent it again in the future. A more 20th century example of the fight or flight response could be jumping out the way of a moving car. Anxiety is a little bit different from fear in terms of the idea that anxiety can also be related to our perception of things. If we perceive something bad is going to happen and we think a lot about this bad thing going to happen, or we think a lot about the danger or something going wrong, that can create physical feelings of the fight or flight response, that fear response, commonly known as anxiety. Anxiety can develop when a fearful situation has happened to you in the past, or someone you know, or you have seen something that makes you feel anxious. Anxiety can also occur when we repeatedly think about something bad happening or something going wrong. For example, if you've been in a car accident before, it makes sense that you feel more anxious than the average person when you're out on the road. And if, whilst you're driving, you think about having a car accident, of course you can imagine that that's going to also make you feel more anxious when you're behind the wheel. During the pandemic, anxiety is likely to be increased due to the risk of infection, changes in routine, and lack of contact with other people. This can lead people to worry and ruminate, and people could have worried about lots of different things. The dangers associated with COVID, the fact they're not seeing their friends and family, some people might be getting ill, changes in their working routine, and accustoming to all this can be a real challenge for people. When we feel anxious, we experience changes in our minds and in our bodies due to the fight or flight response. You might notice your body feels tense, you might feel shaky, dizzy, your stomach might feel nauseous, and you can even lose a sense of reality in severe cases. As well as changes in our body, we also might notice changes in our mind. When we're anxious, people have a tendency to ruminate and worry a significant amount more than what they usually would when they feel calm and content. This is because anxiety encompasses lots of different unhelpful thoughts that aim to protect you from a perceived danger. And this usually maintains the anxiety because our thoughts tend to think about the worst possible outcome. This could be fearing something bad happening, fearing judgment from other people, thinking about worst case scenarios, and having really catastrophic thoughts, which sometimes are quite unrealistic given the nature of the situation. Here is an example of what we call an anxiety maintenance cycle. You can see how these thoughts in this particular situation would lead to changes in your body, in your physical feelings, in your emotions, and in your behavior. The pandemic may have increased your anxiety due to the stress of all the change. On top of this, being kept inside and not being around other people can significantly increase anxiety, as the less we do things, the more anxious we tend to feel about them. It can take some time to accustom to changes, so be kind to yourself and be patient with yourself. The cycle outlined before comes from a therapy known as cognitive behavioral therapy. There are hundreds of self-help materials out there for you that use this CBT approach in order to help you manage your anxiety. You can search for self-help websites in Google, and this will provide you with some of those maintenance cycles and also some other really helpful thought management techniques. Noticing and managing your thoughts is essential in managing anxiety, because thoughts can often be exaggerated and distorted due to that inflated sense of perceived danger. And that's just a way in which we protect ourselves. But how helpful has that been to you in the past? Sometimes people believe that worrying a lot helps them feel prepared. This can often lead to excessive amounts of worry, and then people start to worry about worrying. This is why learning how to manage your worries is essential when it comes to coping with anxiety. Here are some self-help websites where you can find some maintenance cycles and some thought management techniques to help you cope with thoughts and worry. You can also try to stop avoiding the things that make you feel anxious. If we continue to avoid the things that make us feel anxious, we will never truly know if our original thoughts or ideas about the situation are true or not. It might be easier for you to visit one friend before you meet 5. Start small and gradually work your way up to the situation that it is that you're fearing. It makes sense that we avoid things that make us feel anxious. However, this just keeps the anxiety going. Have you ever done something and thought, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was? This can often be the case when people challenge their fears. Also, try to talk to other people about how you're feeling. It's okay to be anxious, and it's okay to be struggling post-lockdown. Many of us haven't experienced a global pandemic before. If you would like to talk to people in private, you can call Samaritans, or you can access free online counselling through your GP. This is Quell for adults and Couth for children. Don't forget to speak to your GP if you have concerns about your mental health. There are services available on the island that are here to support you with your struggles. Your GP can refer you to these services, or you can go online and refer yourself. For more information, please see the Isle of Man government's website. Remember, it's okay if you're feeling anxious during these times. Anxiety is a very normal human emotion. And if you need some support with it, don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Thank you for your time.